Medicine is supposed to make you healthier. But what if it did the opposite? What if it made you sicker? That is exactly what is happening in Southeast Asia, where 1 in 5 medicine bought in this market, in some regions in this market, are counterfeit or fake medicine. This is where Easy Tracker comes in, which is a blockchain-powered technology helping you to detect whether the medicine in your hand is authentic or not. Good morning, everyone. We are at the City University of Hong Kong. I'm Rafiza, and together with my group mates Richard, Gwen, and Andreas, we're here to answer the question, how can Easy Tracker increase the number of its use cases in the next 5 years? To answer this question, our analysis has provided us with 2 key insights. One is that we see that there's a potential for extending the technology usage of Easy Tracker itself by broadening our network. Through our Solution Alliance, we want to do this by engaging more manufacturers and other key stakeholders. Next, we see that Easy Tracker has this potential to target other markets, especially in the Southeast Asian region. Through our Solution Access, we aim to do this by gaining a new entry into this market. Now, let's take a step back and look at the analysis that drives our solution. First, let's look at Easy Tracker's parent company, Zuellig Pharma, which is a Singapore-based medical services company providing a wide range of products and services from patient and clinical care to even distribution services, which includes a wide variety of stakeholders in its supply chain. However, what makes Zuellig Pharma unique is its blockchain technology, specifically Easy Tracker and EasyVax. We believe that this blockchain technology can be leveraged in order to help Zuellig Pharma expand and also Easy Tracker expand. Next, let's look at how Easy Tracker works. Easy Tracker is a tracing and verification software app with a little over 50,000 users. How does it exactly work, and how does it leverage blockchain technology? First, the manufacturer inputs some data about their medication onto the blockchain itself. The medication is then distributed to the user. The user can then check for the authenticity of this medication by scanning a unique code that the manufacturer has placed through the Easy Tracker app by scanning the code. This data is then referred back to the blockchain to verify whether the medicine is authentic or not. What can we see here? We can see here that Easy Tracker ensures data collection in each step of the supply chain, which means that we have a lot of data collection. This data can be further capitalized in the future, and we believe it's very valuable for Easy Tracker. Next, let's look at the market that it operates in. So Easy Tracker currently operates in Hong Kong, Malaysia, Thailand, and South Korea. We believe that the knowledge about counterfeit medication is already prevalent in these markets. However, let's look at other potential markets, especially developing countries in Southeast Asia, such as Indonesia, Vietnam, and Philippines. These countries have a massive counterfeit medication issue. However, there exists Zuellig Pharma's distribution networks in these markets, and also we see high smartphone usage in these markets. Therefore, we believe that these markets would be really good potentials for Easy Tracker to expand into and target. Now, our analysis has brought in us with 2 key insights. We see that there's a potential for Easy Tracker to increase the number of users that actually use it, and also expand the number of manufacturers that provide their data to this to the blockchain. Next, we also see that there is also a target potential for Southeast Asian markets, as mentioned before. This brings us to the overall question: how can Easy Tracker increase its use cases, or the number of scans and the number of people who use this app in the next 5 years? To answer this question, the case has provided us with 3 solutions. One is forming a consortium in Southeast Asia. One is expanding the scope of blockchain, and also targeting the Southeast Asian market in general. We have analyzed these solutions based on 3 criteria: feasibility, impact and benefit, and also scalability. When it comes to feasibility, we believe these solutions are mostly all feasible. But when it comes to impact and benefit, we suggest concentrating on forming a consortium and also targeting the Southeast Asian market, a new Southeast Asian market, because we believe that the blockchain scope that Easy Tracker currently has is already pretty sufficient. Our solution, Alliance and Access, aims to address the key insights that we have identified earlier. by giving value to manufacturers and broadening our network when it comes to key stakeholders. And with access, we want to venture into a new Southeast Asian market to promote the usage of Easy Tracker itself. Now I'll pass the time on to my colleague to dive deeper into the solutions.
Thank you, Rafiza. Now let me guide you through our first solutions alliance. This is aiming to actually answer the questions on how we can extend the technology adoptions of Easy Tracker. We believe that our technology is as much valuable as how much data we can bring into the network, as well as how much type of medicines that we can detect in the market. And so we believe that there is a potential to extend these technology adoptions by engaging with more manufacturers. Now, through our analysis, we found out that there are 10% of medicines circulating in the Southeast Asia regions which are counterfeits. However, the data utilization rate in this area is actually pretty low comparable to other regions. This is where Easy Trackers can jump in by providing the solutions to counterfeit medicines, but also providing data utilizations to increase the efficiency of pharmaceuticals company. Now let's meet Ahmad, our CEO, from a leading Malaysian pharmaceutical company. His company faced a challenge because of counterfeit medicines issues circulating in the market. And he has heard about blockchains, on how blockchains can help detecting these kinds of counterfeit medicines, but he's not sure on how he can implement these things in his company and whether it will be effective. And so this is where our First Solutions Alliance comes in. Our First Solutions aims to make partnerships in the form of consortiums with the existing country of operations, because we believe that instead of expanding through Southeast Asia directly, we need to strengthen our positions in our current existing market first. In these countries, we are going to invite local manufacturers as well as distributor partners to join the consortiums and provide data and values to our network. We could also invite research and IT practitioners to get involved and adding value to the network. Now, how these consortiums will work? We will ask these local manufacturers in the countries and distributors to actually incorporate Easy Trackers to tag to their products as well as their operations with our technology. This will let them to detect counterfeit medicines issues, but also adding values to our technology, as we can now detect the counterfeit products of another brands. And what kind of value propositions actually should we offer to these stakeholders inside the consortiums? For the manufacturers, we believe that they are facing the challenge of detecting counterfeit products. And so they also has a rough data on sales performance. This is where Easy Trackers can jump in by providing the counterfeit detections data through our Easy Trackers, but also providing geographic sales data that is detected through our detections on Easy Tracker. With this data, manufacturer companies can have better strategic decisions to actually combat these counterfeit issues, while also allocating better resources by predicting the demand in each specific regions on their operations. This way, the manufacturers will gain benefit from the data on the traceable medicine sales, but also adding value to our technology network. What about the distributor? So for the distributors itself, we believe that we can provide more sophisticated and more efficient distribution network by collaborating with all of the stakeholders like manufacturers as well as other distributors inside the consortium. So for example, when a counterfeit medicines is detected in hospital in area B, and then the original manufacturers was located very far away from this hospital. This is where and providing the data on where these detections is happened. And so we can have a wider distributions network while also reducing costs for the distributions. Now, let's go back to with these solutions, we believe that we can achieve an increased adoption of Easy Tracker technology among different stakeholders, but also we can have a tangible benefits for public health with inclusivity of various brands inside the technology. And pharmacy and hospitals can now detect not only the medicines that we produce, but also other brands. Now let's get back to Ahmed, our CEO. So as he is facing this challenge, he is approached by EasyTrackers to join the consortiums with the other stakeholders, and he now learns about EasyTrackers blockchain technology on counterfeit problems. He then agreed to join this network, and also while he's solving this problem of counterfeit issues with the help of our EasyTracker, he also brings values to our technology by bringing in its customers as well as distribution network. Now I'll pass the time.
Thank you, Richard. Now let me guide you to our second solution, access. This is aimed to answer the question on how can EasyTracker target the other markets in Southeast Asia. This is because we actually see the potential in the Southeast Asian region where there's a high rate of counterfeit issues. And by implementing this solution, EasyTracker can also get the benefits because we have collected more data. Now, the question is, which country should we get deeper into? We have identified 3 developing countries that are potential, that are Philippines, Vietnam, and also Indonesia. And we assess them based on 3 types of criteria. The first one is populations, because the more the people in that region, the more the data that we can collect. And we also assess it based on the smartphone adoption and the counterfeit rate in those regions. Based on our analysis, we come into the decision that actually Indonesia is currently the best option for EasyTracker to develop into. Now, talking about Indonesia, there are 2 types of characteristics. The first one is the urban areas. People in Indonesian urban areas tend to be more familiar with technology, and they even use medical app to consult with the doctors and also purchasing the medicines itself. As for the rural areas, in the other hand, they are not really familiar with technology, and they usually use the traditional methods. So when they got sick, they would go to the public clinics to get their medications. Therefore, we see that the EasyTracker needs to tap into these different markets with different approaches. Now, let me first explain about you to our first tactic to address the urban areas. We can first partner with the local medicine manufacturer and also the logistic and distributor in this region. So the name listed in the slides are the currently that already established large network in Indonesia, where we can reach different types of regions in Indonesia. And as my colleague already mentioned, for the benefits, it will be similar to our first solution alliance, where the manufacturer and distributor can get the valuable data, and then they can increase their business operations efficiency. However, since this is not a consortium, we will first give Indonesian market free of charge for 3 years of usage, because this will be the initial data collection period for EasyTracker. And then after we successfully collect this data, we can start charging them in the first of the 4th year, because we can already help them in increasing their business operation efficiency. Now, after we touch on the producer, which are the manufacturers, we also want to touch on the end customers that are hospitals, could be private or public, and also the patients. As I have mentioned before, that people in Indonesia use medical app to consult with a doctor, such as Halodoc and AlloDoctor. They also purchase the medicines from here. So EasyTrackers can pull the API and embed it in the system of the medical app. Therefore, people don't need to really install the EasyTracker app itself, but they can still use the feature of EasyTracker, and we still can collect the data by collaborating with these medical applications. We can also get the traffic from the social media ads. We can educate the people there about the EasyTracker features, about how can they easily scan and detect whether the medicine they get is genuine or not. Now, after talking about the urban areas, how about the people who live in the underdeveloped regions? Let's see Ani here. She has a financial constraint because she is a single mother with 2 children. And if she got the counterfeit medicine, it will be very problematic, because she's not only need to purchase the new medicines with higher or expensive rate, she will also can get harmful illness because of that counterfeit medicines. So how can EasyTrackers help people like Annie? Let's see our second tactic here. We can collaborate with the government, especially the Ministry of Health in Indonesia, because they are the one who take controls of the public clinic, and they can also guide this public clinic to use EasyTracker. And the public clinics, by using EasyTracker to scan the medicines, they can ensure that the medicines that they distributed to the patients in that region are safe and not counterfeit. In addition to that, we can also educate these public clinics through health NGOs in those specific regions. So the health NGOs can help to explain about the importance of EasyTrackers and ensuring the safety of the medicines that they distributed. Now, With our second tactic, going back to Ani, after the public clinic already used the system of Easy Tracker, we can ensure the safety of the medicine, and people like Ani no need to worry to repurchase or experiencing illness due to the counterfeit medicine. Therefore, we believe that with our second solution, Access, we could achieve these major key benefits. For Easy Trackers, not only we can increase the number of scans, we can also build a stronger network in Indonesia with the data collection that we already do. And as for the users, like hospitals or the patients itself, they can get a convenient and easy access to the genuine medicines without worrying about the counterfeit issues. Now, let me pass the time to my colleague, Andreas.
Thank you, Gwen, for the time. And you guys all know there's no complete solution without its own implementation. So now let me walk you through first the timeline. So for our solution, we have two solutions, that is Alliance and Access. For Alliance, we first believe that we need to conduct market research in our existing current operation to determine the right local partner that we need to insert into our consortium. This will take roughly around 5 to 6 months. And after that, we'll follow that up with approaching these desired companies that we have identified through our research and propose this consortium. We believe this process will finish around the end of year 1. And by the start of year 2, we can already form this consortium where we will treat data inside it and help build the network that Easy Tracker already has. And for our second solution, Access, there is one common thing that we need to do for both the urban and also the rural areas. That is, we need to approach the local manufacturer and distributor in Indonesia, because without them, we cannot do our tactic in our urban and rural area. We believe this process will take around 6 months, that we will start in the first of second year. After that, we'll go to each individual tactics. For our urban tactics, we believe the first thing we need to do is make a partnership with application that my colleague has mentioned earlier, that is Halodoc and AloDokter, because they are the two major medical apps that a lot of people use in Indonesia. After we did the partnership with them, at the same time, we should also do social media marketing to make the user aware of this feature and start telling them how to use it. And for our second tactic, that is rural, we need to do partnership with the Ministry of Health, because this Ministry of Health usually control a lot of the public health clinic in rural areas that we will need to help these people in the area. And for our impact itself, we believe through our solution Alliance and Access, we can add 196,000 users into the Easy Tracker platform. We can increase the number of scans that is done through the Easy Tracker or Easy Tracker API by 855,000, and increase the amount of product tracked in general in terms of medicine by 11.8 million. And for our financials, we believe this solution can help bring an initial revenue of 810,000 Singapore dollars, that offset it by some costs around 405,000 Singapore dollars, which will bring us to a net profit of 404,000 Singapore dollars. The revenue drivers and cost drivers are listed here in the right-hand side of the slide, and we can talk about it more in the question and answer session later. Lastly, we also have identified some risks that might come up from our proposed solution. For the first solution, the risk that we believe might come up is that this addition of manufacturer that we have hand-selected to join our consortium does not produce the desired result or improvement in our network. This is a high impact but low likelihood event, because as we have mentioned earlier, we'll conduct a thorough market research to find out the right partnership that we need to form or right partner. But if such case happen, we'll try to input the data of why this partner doesn't work into our selection criteria later and choose to collaborate with manufacturer with better alignment with our goals in general. And lastly, for our second solution, we believe that maybe the user can be unfamiliar with this new feature that we inputted or embedded in this application like Halodoc or AloDokter. This is a medium likelihood event with medium impact that we can simply mitigate through promoting through additional channels and make them know about the feature. Now, I'll pass back the time to my colleague, Revisa, to close in our presentation today.
Our solution, Alliance and Access, aims to address potentials of extending the usage of Easy Tracker and also targeting other markets in the Southeast Asian region to overall increase the amount of usage of Easy Tracker itself. We hope and we believe through our solution that more people can be assured that their medication is genuine and less people will be sick by medicine. And that is all for our presentation. Thank you for listening. I'd like to open up the floor for Q&A.
Thank you, Team CityU. Let's put the timer at 15 minutes. Okay, judges, please feel free to ask your questions.
So what? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I have a quick question. Is there any similar app already adopted like for the local Indonesia government at the moment? When you said that, like I think like it's one of the target that like you would like to partner with, right?
Yeah, I can take the question. So the current app that exists in Indonesia right now is for people to consult with the doctor and also purchase the medicines. However, they don't have the feature to scan and detect whether the medicine is genuine or not, whether it's a counterfeit or not. So this is where Easy Trackers can get into and help the app and also help the patients in this region.
Yeah, because when you go back to the slide that you talk about the rural areas, you would like to like this one with the public clinic. So do they already have some established app that like in this area? And do you know why they don't have it? Is it because of the, I don't know, technology cost or?
Yeah, because the rural areas in Indonesia are currently not really familiar with the big technology. So, however, if we touch on from the government, then the government can help the public clinic to promote the Easy Tracker and let them use this Easy Tracker by educating them.
Okay.
Adding on a bit to that, I think for the public clinic, they, as my colleague mentioned, in the rural area, it's not really familiar with technology, but they're all adapt to smartphone usage. And we tried to download the application yesterday, Easy Tracker. We believe the application is very intuitive and is very easy to use. So if the government required this for the clinic to use this, we believe that it is a very, very good approach because the clinic can now scan and ensure the overall quality of the medicine that was prescribed by the clinic.
Okay, thank you. And can you help us to understand a little bit more on the revenue and cost analysis that you mentioned will be covered in the Q&A, please? Thank you.
Okay, so I think for the revenue, we believe the revenue mainly is gonna come from the second solution. That is, we will try to sell this data point for the pharma companies, maybe in Indonesia or in other countries, to understand more about the Indonesian market landscape in general, because we have collected the data point. So the analysis that I did here is that I tried to find the money spent on R&D of pharma companies on annual basis. And then, for example, the percentage of this spend on data, like specifically for data, as a percentage of the R&D is around 12%. And we believe that, for example, a specific pharma company, they will not use only one data platform or data vendor to do their R&D. And we believe we could achieve probably 3% market share. And then we also applying discount in terms of pricing to enter the new market, because use the purchasing power parity between the Indonesia and US is amounted to around 16.62%. And then so I believe that potential revenue per company will amount to 119,000. And this case, I only calculate the company in Indonesia that we have mentioned earlier. So the major pharma companies in Indonesia, there are 5. There is Bio Farma, Kalbe Farma, Kimia Farma, and the thing that my colleague have mentioned. So that's why I only times this by 5. And since we give the product from free from year 2 till year 5, we only get 1 period in our implementation period where we can get the revenue. And that's how I calculate my revenue. Regarding the cost, we believe the cost will be in the second solution as well. So we believe the first one should be the social media ads that we spend for our customer to visit it. We also need to employ some employee because we did to do the partnership with our doctor and HelloDoc. And then we also did rental. For example, we set up an office in Indonesia, very small office, because there's very few employee there. And also we do the partnership cost because there should be some incentive for this health application in Indonesia, like HelloDoc and our doctor, to want to do a partnership with us. This total cost, after I calculate it, will amount to around 405,000 Singapore dollars. And hopefully that answered the question.
Thank you. Over to you, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you. What's the relationship between the pharma company and the consortium?
So for the first solution, right, the relationship between the pharma companies and the consortium.
Oh, yeah, perhaps I could take the question. So the relationship between pharma companies and also consortiums is that we want to actually include them in our network of technology. So in this case, we can allow them with our technology when they put the detect on their products, we can also detect these counterfeit products of this company, that medicines that is being produced by this pharma company instead of medicines that is solely produced by us. And with this way, we believe that there will be an increase of technology adoptions of Easy Tracker.
Yeah, adding on to that, I think because mainly we believe that the strength of Easy Tracker itself is the use cases, right? So, for example, if for us, the end customer, we want to be able to scan as many medicine as we can, right? So if we can try to include
So I
more,
guess my question is,
sorry.
if I am the CEO, Ahmed, of Tripharma, I'm joining an independent company as an alliance, and somebody else independently running that consortium, or is that alliance is still running by Zuellig Pharma?
I think because it's consortium, it should be run by the alliance, so the alliance can have the access to all the data that was circulated inside the network as well.
So what exactly is the business model of the alliance? How do they make money?
We believe that for Alliance itself, because it is a partnerships where everyone is achieving greater goods, we actually didn't consider that this alliance would bring revenues for our companies. But in the other hand, it helps us in the expansion. Yeah.
So actually, Easy Tracker is still under Zuellig Pharma as an internal solution, but then Alliance is an external entity, right?
Yeah, we are involving external entity into our technology. So this will create a more inclusive environment for everyone to detect.
My last question is, in the P&L, you have 400K initial revenue. Don't you think 400K is not good enough to sustain that solution? You think about, I see your cost spreadsheet. You don't, if I see correctly, you don't even include the SAP cost, license cost, and SAP is, I guess, is the backbone of the entire solution. So how does that 400K going to sustain the business model?
Okay, so I think because based on when I read the case, Zuellig Pharma and Easy Tracker have moved on from SAP from their blockchain into another ledger that is independent, and that's why I didn't include the SAP cost into the cost calculation. But we believe because Easy Tracker is a startup inside the under the umbrella of Zuellig Pharma, we believe that the goal for now should be accumulating as much data point as we can regarding the environment in this different market, so that we can have this advantage in the future. And because in the case itself is mentioned in the last part that Zuellig Pharma aim to become a data aggregator, and that's why we believe that we need to spend this cost in the first place, so that we can have this data point and we can achieve this goal of Easy Tracker and Zuellig Pharma to become the data aggregator in the future.
Okay, thanks.
Maybe just one question or a couple of questions from me. Can you go to the impact slide, please?
Yep.
How did you calculate the number of users? Because, for instance, HelloDoc, I know, has 20 million active monthly users.
Yep.
How did you arrive at the added 196,000?
Okay, understood. So let me go through the implementation part first. So the impact part. So I think this is how I calculated and the first time. So basically, I just know that in Indonesia. So for example, I'm calculating this first. This is the additional from only simply the consortium, but I feel like the biggest number come from this part, that is the Indonesia population. So for example, I did this calculation within the total Indonesia population, And then I divided by the urban area and then the rural area. The urban area population is around 57%. And then I did a lot of funneling. So for example, I did the percentage of people aged 20 to 40, and then I used the percentage of this population using Halodoc or AlloDoctor. And then I also used the percentage of Indonesia concerned about counterfeit medicine. But even though they're concerned as Indonesian, I can testify that sometimes these people doesn't check their before they consume their medicine. So I also use like the percentage of people that buy medicine online, because that's where they most likely will use the tracker as well. And also the percentage of people that will check their medicine before consuming it. That's where I get the number 138,000. But we also have the number from rural area with similar calculation. And additional to that is also I calculate the number of public health clinic in Indonesia and the rural area. So hopefully that's clear enough and answer your question.
Yeah, thank you. And then maybe just on the financials, the numbers that you show there, they are purely for Indonesia?
Yes, that's the number I show purely for Indonesia, and only using the 5 biggest pharma companies that is mentioned by my colleague here. So I think it's Kalbe Pharma, Kimia Pharma, and then Bio Pharma, which is government entity, and then also Dexa Medica and also Temposcan. So that's the 5 biggest local manufacturer in Indonesia. Because we believe from Zwellig Pharma, what I see is that Zwellig Pharma already control the distribution of most foreign medicine in Indonesia. For example, Sanofi, the distributor of insulin and everything in Indonesia is already covered by Zwellig Pharma. So we believe these 5 local manufacturers should be enough, and this data could be, in the future, could be packaged and maybe sold to them to help their R&D as well.
Okay, thank you. And then maybe just final one on the financials. So you did the go to the financial slide. Yep. Sorry, so this is just purely based on Indonesia. Do you see a similar, or did you think about a similar for the other markets that you kind of highlighted as potentials? Would the revenue stream be more or less the same or higher? Or?
I think so I think for Philippines, it should be more or less the same. I am not very knowledgeable about Philippines because I'm Indonesian, but based on the conversation that I have had with my friends here in CTU from Philippines and also my friends here from Vietnam, the situation is pretty much the same. That's why we believe these 3 markets are the key market that we should consider, because based on my own experience, for example, in Indonesia, even my family goes to the emergency sometimes because they got counterfeit medicine, and it's a really prominent issue in Indonesia. And when I asked my friend from Philippines and Vietnam, they kind of say the same thing, that one of their close friends already goes to, like, for example, to emergency and got food poisoning because of medicine. So I think the funnel channel should be around the same. Maybe the revenue might be a little bit lower in Vietnam and Philippines because the population is not as big as Indonesia, as my colleague has mentioned. But I think the revenue stream and the amount of revenue that they get and the cost should be around the same, because their purchasing power of parity, if I find it on Google and try to research it, is about around the same thing.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks. No more questions from my side.
Okay. I think there's time for another quick question and a quick answer. Any quick question from any of the judges? If there's no more questions, then I'll suggest that we move to the judges' deliberation. Students, thank you very much for your presentation.